Yeah, what's happening, people? What's happening, family? What's happening? Um, welcome to Plugged In, man. We're gonna open this thing up with another track. So now you guys on TikTok can't hear it, but I will do another video drop where you guys can check out another song that's on my blues album. Man, see, this is what I love about being free and having the resources to do and live whatever you want, however you want to live. Now, for those of y'all who can hear on my other platforms and other my
sizzling, oh, what a sight. Everybody but cooking feels oh so right. From fried chicken to her cornbread gold, feasting with her is just pure soul. A pinch of love and a dash of spice. You know you're living when it tastes this nice. Hey.
Nothing like the blues, y'all. Nothing like the blues. All right, let's get right off into this because, again, this album will be coming out. Not for sale. This is just something that I wanted to do to scratch off my bucket list. This is something that I have always wanted to do since I was very, very little. And I have been fortunate enough to fulfill that dream. And I'm thankful and grateful that I was able to do that. Now, I'm trying to get my lights right, y'all, because I broke my other light. So for those of y'all who are watching on the podcast and on social media, it's cutting me off on part of my green screen. But for those of y'all who are on TikTok, you guys are already right here in the shop with me. This is my leather shop, one of my businesses that I run, Premier Leather Crafts. You can always check that out on social media platforms, wherever, and see the products there. I'm everywhere. I'm even on Google. So, but let's get off into tonight's episode, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's episode on the podcast is how lessons, Lesson, lessons are more valuable than a blessing. Now, this is going to get deep, but I want you to put your thinking caps on. And we're going to do a deep dive into understanding the difference between a lesson and a blessing, and how a lesson carries more value than a blessing does. Blessing. Now, depending on how you look at it, let's start with a lesson first. A lesson is something. There are two types of people. Let me back up. There are two types of people in this world that you will encounter. Two types of people that you will encounter. And you will encounter people that are there to give you a lesson, and you will also encounter people that are there that's going to give you a blessing. Now, depending on how you're looking at this thing, a lesson is something that's given to you to where there is a more in-depth study that person is trying to give you. I myself, I don't give blessings. The blessings that a person receives from me is when they take the lesson and apply it to their everyday life. Like, for instance, there are plenty of people on social media platforms right now to where when we put out information, and then that information is a lesson for you as a person to go and study that. Find out why we say certain things that we say. When I tell somebody to LLC their name, there is a lesson behind it. Now, there's also a blessing, but you will not get blessed from it if you don't apply it. If you don't go back and research it. That's what you got to do with a lesson. When your teacher gave you a lesson in school, That was an assignment. You was assigned to that lesson to go home, do homework, and apply that to when you apply that, it cements that information on your brain. Can't nobody take that away from you once you learn it. Once you learn it, you know it. And when you know it, that's when change starts to happen. And that is when the blessings come in the regard of school. When you put that lesson in the research, you researched it, you did the homework on it, and then you came back and you took the test, the blessing came in the form of a good grade. Now, there are a lot of people who take that same lesson, don't do the research and the homework behind it, and then they come to school and try to wing it. Two things happen. Either that person who didn't put in no work tried to get you to let them cheat off of your paper, or they get a failing grade. That's how it is, ladies and gentlemen, in the world of business, as it is in the world of life. I am a lesson giver. So when I tell people to LLC your name, the question should immediately become, why? You can never learn anything if you don't ask questions. This is where, and I know you guys have been following me on social media. You guys have been seeing all of the videos that I've been ramming the church. And that's because people that's in that organization, they don't take the lesson and go back and research it and read scripture for themselves. They take whatever that man tells them or whatever that woman tells them, they take it and run with it, and then they wonder why they still don't get any blessings or benefits from the scripture, because they didn't take the lesson. And the bad part is a lot of people will blame God for not blessing them when the scriptures, God tell you first, God gives everybody, each and every last one of us, the option to do one thing, to go into action. The scripture says knock. What happens if you just walk up on somebody's porch and just stand at their door and don't say nothing? You don't knock. You don't ring the doorbell. You just stand there waiting for the door to open. Ain't nobody gonna let you in. Business in the world, life itself is the exact same way. So when we say LLC your name, your first question should be why? Why should I LLC my name? Then most times as an influencer, what we would do, we would come back and follow that up and say, this is why you should LLC your name. The IRS tax code is not written for those who aren't doing business. This is why you receive so little on your tax returns, and business people and wealthy people receive a whole lot. Now, there are going to be people jumping in and out. I don't care about the numbers on these things because I've been doing this podcast for the past 5 years. I ain't stopped yet. I don't go for the numbers because the book called Bible also says, let those who have ears, let them hear. This is why I'm not a blessing giver. I'm a lesson giver because I've been giving these lessons. I've been teaching this for the past 8 years. I've been doing the podcast for the past 5 years, and I'm still giving lessons. Only 124 people to date. 25. I just had one client that I just set up a week ago. 125 people are the only ones that have heard. And those 125 have been set up in their own business, properly structured, properly modeled, and boom, they off to the races. Now, out of all the people that's on social media, I have over 100. I have on all of my social media platforms combined, plus Instagram, I have well over 178,000 but only 125 have heard. Now, some people will say, man, them terrible numbers. They are. They are terrible for those of you who write numbers. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at it, they call the upper 1%. It's only 1% of the wealth at the top. Those are some terrible numbers too. It's only 1%. The other 99% are broke, working week to week, check to check, borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, and hope. Hope is the worst thing that you can prescribe to a people. Hope. Hope is the worst thing that a person can say to themselves. Because out of the 75 million cells that's in your body, you are speaking. The book of the Bible says, out of whatever proceeds out of a man's mouth. And you sitting there living on hope? No. People who know how to live this life and play this game, we don't hope for nothing. We go out, we put it in practice, we put it in work, and then we achieve, and we gain. I don't hope for nothing. Hope is the worst thing that you can sell a person, because it's a lie. It's a figment of your imagination. It's a part of being deeply indoctrinated by the Matrix. To see one thing, but hope something else is going to come out of it. That's insanity. Now, the lesson will only become a blessing when you put that lesson into practice and you see the results and the benefits that come from it. That's what a lesson is. A lesson is something that can't nobody take away from you. Think about when you fell off your bicycle, trying to learn how to ride a bike. This was the lesson. Now, you have to gain your balance. You have to learn how to steer and pedal and see all in one motion in action. You have to summon all of the muscles and the cells in your body to coordinate and work together. But then you fail, scrape your knee. Lesson. What did you do wrong? I took my eyes off the handlebar. I was trying to look and see where I was going. Now you know. One time I put my foot down and the pedal hit my shin. Lesson. What did you learn? Let that pedal get in behind you or get in front of you or get down, the down position, before you put your dominant foot down. All of these things are lessons. Then you will learn what not to do, and we don't repeat that. That's good. A lesson, ladies and gentlemen, the average person always thinks that there's something bad coming out of learning. There is no bad lesson. There is never a bad lesson. Everything that we have learned over the course of our life, off into adulthood, even dating back to childhood, learning how to walk, was something that you imprinted on your brain. Can nobody take that away from you? That's a good thing. Now let's get to this blessing thing. A blessing, ladies and gentlemen, don't serve you no purpose but temporary reprieve. A blessing. And blessing doesn't necessarily mean it came from a good source. Are the drug dealers, the plug, is he blessed? Is the plug blessed? No. Look where his blessings came from. Look what he had to do in order to make it appear that he was blessed. But as soon as somebody wants his spot, then he learns a lesson. Ain't that funny how that works? Isn't that funny how that works? When he gets arrested, he learns a lesson. Now, some of them don't learn from when they find out that their blessings aren't really coming from a good place. We all can agree nothing good come out of a drug deal. That ain't blessing. That's a fake facade. Because the drugs aren't the only thing that's addictive. The lifestyle is addictive. The clothes, the money, the women, that's addictive. So he might not be addicted to the drug himself, but he's addicted to the image of saying, I got it. The power, the fame. Everybody wants to be like him. He, in his mind, he blessed. Why do you think the majority of them be wearing crosses? Confusion. But he learned very quickly those things are blessings, especially when they come and seize everything that you thought was your blessing. Then they learn a lesson. Here's another thing where a blessing is not a good thing. You can be praying to God all day long. Lord, I need $300 to pay my light bill. Lord, I need $300 to pay my light bill. Then here comes somebody that gives you $300. Some people will say, ooh, man, I've been praying to God and never blessed me. Now, let me tell y'all something. I'm going to be totally honest with you. When you pray, God ain't the only one listening. The devil listening too. He listening too. Now, there is a reason why God allowed such a thing to happen to where you became in need of the money in the first place. Most people don't even question that. They don't even ask. What led me up to not having my bill money when you know your light bill comes every month? What led me up to why I don't have rent money, mortgage, can't buy my children's school clothes? What led up to me not having? Nobody ever asks themselves that question. They just want reprieve. They want the blessing and the pain to stop. But then here comes somebody with that $300. Bam! Put it in your hand like clockwork. Like, man, I was just praying. See, a lot of y'all be putting things on God that God didn't want to happen to you because God knows you weren't ready for it. Because God also knows you didn't learn the lesson. Then you, especially you women out there, y'all have had this happen multiple times, so you know it's true. That man come through there with them $300, and boom. Give it 3 days, 3 to 7 days. Now, this is so magical right here because this is getting off into another science and a school of thought. God works in 3s and 7s, always. You can read any scripture in the book. God's numbers are 3 and 7. 3 and 7. Somebody bring you some money like that after you've been asking and while you're waiting and wanting it. 3 to 7 days later, that same person that gave you that money, they're going to come with the other shoe. Now they want you to do something a little strange for that piece of change. Y'all women who are watching, y'all done been there. That man wants something for his $300. $300? He wants something. For that $300. Then now you're stuck So was it a blessing? Who was listening that gave you that blessing? That don't seem like a blessing from God, because God not going to put you in a situation where you got to do something strange for that little piece of change. God ain't going to put you in that situation. So that only leaves Satan. But people will blame God still. It might not be something that deep. You might need some work done on your car. And it's in every community, every town, every city that I have ever known and lived in, there's always somebody out there that can fix your joint real quick. And then here he comes. And if you're a man, somebody's still gonna ask you to do a favor. Some of y'all men might have been in this situation. Hey, yo, man, I got it, man, but man, hey, I mean, he ain't gonna ask for, well, sometimes, but in today's society, some of these men gonna ask for some sexual favors from a man too. I mean, hey, we in some weird times right now. But he might be like, hey, man, take this pack across town for me, man, and I'll give you the money. You ain't even gotta pay me back to the work for it. But he ain't gonna tell you he hot right now. He ain't gonna tell you he hot. And then the police been watching his house and they see you leave out of there, and then they following you, and boom, you jammed up. Was that a blessing? Now I'm just giving y'all some different scenarios and examples. They might not never come true, but you still got to recognize and see who the blessing coming from. And then when somebody gives you a blessing, what did you learn? Because you weren't looking for the lesson. All you was looking for that temporary reprieve. They fixed and solved your problem at that moment, but then guess what? Now you got to pay it back. This is the problem that a lot of people get in trouble with those check cashing places. Oh man, y'all get in trouble with the check cash places. Legalized loan sharking. That's what I call it. You going in to borrow $150, but you got to pay $217 back. What the what? What? Now you got to pay back $217. Now you got to take $217 out of your next check, which is only $350, and now you're short. So you can't stop right there. You got to get that money back. So now you go back, you pay the $215, and then you borrow another $150, which is less money than what you paid back. Now you're on that hamster wheel. Was that a blessing? Because you definitely didn't learn the lesson. And eventually it's going to get to the point to where that $150 ain't enough. So now you got to borrow $250. And then now you got to pay back $312. That's not a blessing. And you haven't yet learned the lesson. See, sometimes God doesn't give you certain things because you're not prepared for it. I was on TikTok earlier today and I saw somebody that was doing a little live, and they asked the question, do Black people deserve reparations? Or something along those lines, but it had to do with Black people in America getting reparations. And I just typed in, I stopped myself from joining these people live because I'm not like other people. I don't think like nobody else, but I tell the truth. And I typed in the comments, no, they don't need reparations. And then somebody said, why? Real quick before I can even jump on and jump off. So now, by me having what I know, I responded. And I responded on this wise. They don't deserve reparations because they'll give it all back. So why get it in the first place? And then I jumped off. And let me explain to you why I said that. Look at this income tax season just coming up. Those of you who have applied, because 24th was the official date to apply for your tax return, some of y'all already know how much y'all getting back. Some of you have already spent that money in your head already. See how fast it is? You done spent it already. They haven't even issued no returns. They haven't even given you a check yet, and it's already gone. Now, here's the issue that I have. For the past 11 months, 95% of the people haven't fixed their credit. 5% have not fixed their credit in the past 11 months. Now, think your tax return as reparations. You haven't fixed your credit since the day you messed it up. And now, let's just say the government going to give everybody $250,000, $250,000 in reparations. You know what corporate America is going to do? As soon as they find out Black folks got reparations, because corporate America is going to know you're going to get issued a reparations check before you do. So let me tell you what corporate America is going to do. Corporate America is going to start having a reparations sale. And they're going to sell to everybody that got a check, especially those with bad credit. Oh, you're going to be able to get everything. Well, how do we know this, Muhammad? Because, man, what this got to do with business? Everything. This is why, according to the SBA, 70%, over 70% of new businesses fail in the first year. Why is that? Because you started this new business, but you didn't learn nothing. You didn't take no lessons on how to keep it. You didn't learn no lessons on how to scale it, how to grow it, how to use social media in order to bring in more customers and clients. You didn't read no books about your industry or whatever business you wanted to start and do. Do y'all think it's by accident that the overwhelming majority, especially Black America, let me talk to Black America, the overwhelming majority of Black America opened up one of three businesses. And the fourth one is, it's you ain't got to take my word for it. Go back and research it. Everything that I tell anybody, I can prove it in a short lead of time. One of three businesses, I'm going to say four, just for kicks and giggles. One of four businesses, Black America is going to start a detail shop. For women, it's going to be a beauty salon or a nail shop. For men, it's going to be a detail shop, a club, or he's gonna have a detail shop, a club, or he's gonna open up a barber shop. I didn't put it in there. That's public record. Y'all can Google that. The most open Black-owned businesses. And then the fourth one is a clothing store or some type of shoe store. Nobody wants to open up. Let me throw in there number 5, some type of restaurant. He's going to have some type of little small kitchen type thing. 1 of 5 businesses. 1 of 5. And then over 70% of them fail within the first year. Now, think about this. Let's just use a practical number. We're going to say 65 out of 100 brand new businesses fail within the first year. So now we're only down to 35 businesses left. Now, by year 3, that's 54%. Half of the remaining 35. So now we're down to 17 businesses or 16 businesses in 17. I said that right. 17 businesses by year 3. Guess how many make it to year 5? Less than 20%. There's only one true science in the world, ladies and gentlemen. That's 1 + 1 is 2. Mathematics is the only true science. You can Google the SBA and read that same report that I read. Now, those numbers might be different since COVID because we went through some hard times and a lot of people lost their business. And they had no fallback and they had to get back into the workforce. But guess what? They still didn't learn the lesson. They looked at those years as a blessing because they didn't have to go to work. But they never knew how to scale their business. They never knew how to save and budget plan their money. See, that's the first thing that all businesses do. This is why so many of them fail within the first year. When they business start making that money, they don't separate the business money from their personal money. This is what they call commingling the funds. And the banks know this. When you go and open up a quote unquote business bank account, you should know from Jump Street when they issue you a business debit card. Ooh, y'all, I see so many. And I just start shaking my head. You got a what? Your business has its own EIN number. You don't realize the number of people that didn't learn the lesson on the power behind an EIN, your employer identification number. You know how many people don't even know how powerful that number is? And they go and set up a business bank account with a business saving account. They let the bank talk them into getting a savings account. I just shake my head, man. I be want to face palm. I be want to slap myself sometimes. People didn't learn the lesson. All they was focused on was the blessing that I quit my job. Ooh, I ain't gotta work. I got my own business. You know how many people I hear say they got their own business, but their personal income tax is attached to their business tax? That's a direct no-no. What did you do when you kept your personal income, when you married your social security number to your EIN, your business's EIN number? What did you just do when you married those two together? Do you know? Because you didn't learn the lesson. You was only looking for the blessing. When you married your social security number to your EIN number, that puts you in a higher tax bracket from day one. So now you are making less money because of the taxations are higher. Ooh, y'all didn't know that, did you? Y'all didn't know that. The taxation is higher. You just cut your own throat and didn't even know it. You cut your own throat and didn't know it. Now, you can't. What was another thing that you did? by marrying your social security number to your EIN number. All of the tax breaks and benefits, because you didn't do separation of entity. Now everything that got your name on it. So whatever happens to the business, you just acquired the debt from the business. Basically, in simple terms, they made you co-sign your own business. So if the business fails in any amount of money that business owes, you co-sign it because you didn't separate the entity from you. You didn't separate the entity from you. So any debt that the business has, you got to pay for it. It's just like any debts that you have when you're married. The judge comes in and says, oh, well, y'all acquired this debt while y'all was married, so we're going to split the debt down the middle. You pay that and you pay that. Now, in the business world, even though you divorced from the business, your name was on everything. What does that got to do with lessons and blessings? See, people don't learn from the lesson. People don't learn from the blessing because you're caught up into all of the accolades and the fame. A lesson is always more beneficial because now you know what not to do. But at that moment, shoulda, woulda, coulda, wish I had them, don't work for you. This is why you have to learn the lesson before you can receive the blessing. In the Nation of Islam, there's a lesson that says, prepare yourself for positions waiting for you. God has already blessed you, especially if you have a talent. All over social media, ladies and gentlemen, we see multiple talented people. But if they haven't prepared themselves, if they have not prepared themselves to receive that blessing, God knows your heart is not in the right place when you shoot out there and say, I'm going to start me a business. What are you starting a business for? What are you starting a business for? Have you asked yourself that question? Why am I starting a business? Why do I want to start a business? That should be the very first thing you should ask. If you start a business to make money, you're going to fail. I'm the first one to tell you that. You can ask any person of note. You can ask any business owner in your city, town, state, wherever, anybody that you know that's in business. Ask them how important is making money when they started their business. You know what the wealthy say? And I've given this before. If you start a business to do these three things and these three things only, and making money is nowhere in these top three. If you do these three things, you will have a business forever. Number one, your business must solve a problem. Excuse me. A business, if your business doesn't solve a problem, don't start that business. We don't need another damn barbershop. We don't need another car wash, detail shop. We don't need another damn nightclub, nail salon, hair salon. We don't need another restaurant. That's not solving no problem. Number two, if your business doesn't ease somebody else's pain, what is easing the pain? If you, let me tell you about, I'll give you an example about easing somebody's pain. A cast that eases somebody's pain when they have a broken bone. Whoever invented cast or making cast, that person, they pay forever. Every cast that's made, he's gonna get a check out of it. Especially if he patented and trademarked it. That's easing somebody's pain. It took that hurt and that pain of knowing that that bone is going to heal properly. A sprain, an ace bandage, that little boot that goes on your foot. That eases somebody's pain. Knee pads. Whoever invented knee pads eased a lot of carpenters' pain. Athletes eased a lot of their pain. Person be paid forever. Solving the problem. Ink pens. Ink pens solved a lot of problems from people who was even writing with feather ink. You gotta, or some people who were writing with pencils. Pencil sharpener solved the problem of sharpening your pencil quickly, as opposed to taking a knife. Pencil sharpener, that thing got a point ready to write. Ink pens, you ain't got to worry about the pencil, the lead fading. Now you got ink. Glasses solve the problem and ease somebody's pain. Whoever invented these will be paid forever. The third one, we're talking about solving the problem, ease pain. And the third business, if you're going to start one, it should cater to the ego. Cater to the ego. Serious, straight up, no lie. What is a business that caters to people's ego? Lord, do y'all understand how much the eyelash business it makes a year? Eyelashes, fake eyelashes is all ego. Boy, you can't tell a woman who got them fake lashes on, she ain't fine as baby hair. You can't tell her she ain't fine. And she's sitting there flapping her eyelashes like Mr. Snuffleupagus. Fake hair, weave. Do y'all know how much the weave industry is? That's all ego. You can't tell. A woman will sit there in that salon 8 hours. Sleep sitting up in the bed. They walk around with a pencil, man, scratching that head. Because she don't want to mess that weave up. Because she don't want to look bad. Weave is all ego. Blue Chew. Y'all done seen them do Blue Chew, Viagra, Cialis, boy, Rhino pills, honey packs. And then you men who bought that crap, that was all ego. You didn't need it. You just wanted to have it because it made you the champion lover like you thought you was, or like she said you was, but you know she was lying to you. Only reason she said that because you gave her that $300 she need as a blessing. Hey, that was funny. I don't care who you are. That was funny. All that's ego. But if you do those 3 things before you even start a business, make your business one of those 3. I guarantee you, Viagra, honey packs, Cialis, Blue Chew, eyelashes, weave, fake nails, blinged out ice jewelry. Y'all seen some of these rappers, man. Come on, are you serious? Then they got them things on their neck like choker. They ain't even got them trick. And that thing all around their neck like this. More like a choker. At least mine is 20. But all I got is 1. The jewelry don't make me. I make the jewelry. Now I ain't iced out. Number 1, see, that's another thing. The lesson is that platinum jewelry, I guarantee mine gonna hold more value than yours will. Gold ain't went out of style since the Bible days. Why do you think God always talks about gold? Why did God allow King Solomon to have the gold and the diamond mines? Huh? It's a lesson. Stop chasing after the blessing. Go for the lesson. Because when you learn the lesson, the blessings got to fall in suit. Because why? Now you have prepared yourself to receive the blessing. Now let's go back to the income tax thing and reparations. This is why we'll never get reparations. Oh, Satan ready to give it. Donald Trump, I'm already saying Donald Trump wrote through $2,000 and $2,200 checks so fast. What happened? Not one single person still got no money. Gave it back with the quickness. So do Black Americans need reparations? Need, and some need it. Do they deserve it? Why? Because every car dealership in America is going to have a reparation sale. Every furniture store, every rental furniture store, man, Best Buy, Aaron's, all of them going to have a reparation sale. Every used car dealership is going to have a reparation sale. Every house that was abandoned in the suburbs through regentrification. See, if y'all ain't preparing to learn the lesson. Oh man, I want to talk to my TikTok folks so bad because they jumping on and off on this podcast. I don't care. Have y'all been noticing that suburbia America is moving back to the inner city and then putting up a modern house in the middle of the hood? Why in the world would you put a $300,000 house up into a neighborhood that got renters paying at $1,500? Why would suburbia America, Karen, why would Karen and Ethan, with their two blonde-haired, blue-eyed children, put a $300,000, $500,000 modern house right next door to the trap house? Y'all ain't peeped that game yet? Because it's coming. It's coming. And here's the funniest part. Boy, we will run folks in and out of our neighborhood that look like us because they don't belong there. But Karen and Ethan then move right next door. Oh boy. And y'all will move 2 streets over. See, Karen and Ethan keep them street lights, them street lamps on. You ain't finna go and shoot them lights out. And then they got security cameras that can look up and down the street that ain't on Wi-Fi. Yeah. They not on Wi-Fi. And they record all transactions going on. See how respectful you hood ninjas are? Y'all YNs get real respectful when Karen and Ethan move next door. Because y'all know, because he done made it known. Oh, he got a brother-in-law that's on the sheriff department or the police department. Because he done came over there, visited the house in his squad car. He done basically told y'all hands off of this. Y'all take that foolishness down the street. And then when y'all move a block or 2 over, then guess what? Ethan and Karen, friends, then put 2 more modern houses over there. Not everybody property tax done jumped up sky high. Now you can't even afford to rent. Man, when I moved to Florida, man, them folks wanted $2,000 for a house in the hood. I was like, you got to be crazy. You think I'm finna rent a trap house for $2,000 a month? Well, I got to have 2 dogs, a shotgun, and a pistol up under my pillow, and a knife, and with them wrought iron security doors on the front and back, burglar bars on the windows, and I got to keep a can of mace at the size of hairspray. And you have to give you $2,000 for that. Man, you crazy. Y'all should see it in your own neighborhoods when they keep going up to your rent. Now you can't afford to stay there. See, you're not learning the lessons. And then guess what's going to happen that y'all going to take as a blessing? Oh, y'all can move out here to the suburbs and we'll sell you this house out here in the suburbs. Now, what is the lesson? Ain't going to be no more black mayors. Ain't going to be no more black city council. They sure ain't going to look like you. Because y'all going to move to the outskirts where they created those new zip codes. Y'all can tear up outside of town. We coming back in to take over in town. And when then that happens, oh, it ain't going to be no more projects no more. That's going to be a new shopping center. Or it's going to be a new high-rise, high-end condo apartment houses. That's what it's going to be. They're going to convert the projects over to apartment homes. That's going to be $4,000 a month rent to make sure that your ass can't come back in and rent. Now, you can tear up. Now, if I was in Alabama, where when this happened in Birmingham, when they started creating Vestavia Hills, what's that other one out there? Vestavia. Then they started putting them up out there, and damn, I can't think of that. Not Pritchard. Pritchard is not a Mobile. You definitely don't want to go to Mobile. The other one up there in St. Clair County. See, all that money started moving to the outskirts, all down there around Shelby County down there. Ain't nothing but money. Now those folks want the inner city back. And now you have a term that's called re-gentrification. Now I'm just giving y'all some educational terms so y'all can go back and look these up. This is the lesson. Now, why would you have to re-gentrify a neighborhood that's already been gentrified one time? Most people don't even know what gentrification means. That means it was zoned for living. Now you want to re-gentrify something that was already zoned for living? Now this is the trick that they're coming in with Florida now. In Florida, you got to build to a certain size. Can't go out here and buy no land, no 5, 6 acres and put you a little 3,000 square foot house on. No, you got to build on that. Because they don't want nobody else coming in and sneaking in and moving back in here. You got to build to a certain spec. In some places down around St. Petersburg, they won't even let you build out no more. You got to build up. It's not uncommon for you to see a house down there in St. Pete that got 4 stories. A house with 4 stories? Are you kidding me? I went to this one millionaire's house. He's a multi-millionaire. He owns some dispensaries up in Colorado. He owns dispensaries. He owns a farmland all over the country. But he do that dispensary. This man have a 25-foot steel door. Steel. In St. Pete. This man has a helipad on the top of his house. From the front, from the porch, all the way to the ceiling in the center of his house is all glass. You can look straight through his house from the front to the backyard. And you think they're going to let Leroy come back in over there? No. I asked him, I said, man, how much you got into this house? He said, I'm well into 15 million. 15 million? You couldn't have stopped at 5? He has the most expensive house over there. And then, in order to do that, he built, because he lives on the canal. The canal is his backyard. He brought in dirt to build up on it. So now he also has the highest elevated house in that whole neighborhood over there on Snell Island. I said, oh my God. He ain't never got to worry about flooding. Now, the lesson is this. There are so many things that people aren't prepared for because they don't want to learn the lesson. It's people that contact me on social media and they accuse me of gatekeeping because they want the blessing, but they don't want to learn the lesson. I told you at the top of the show, I'm not a blessing giver. I'm a lesson giver. I'm a lesson giver, not a blessing giver. Because I understand the value of learning the lesson. When you learn the lesson and you know what I know, when you know what I know, one, can't nobody ever take that away from you. Two, success is only duplication. So when you create one business, you do the same thing and create a second business. And you do a third business. You do a fourth business. Y'all have already seen all of my business certificates. I have 8. 5 are producing. 2 are growing. No, 1 is growing. So that's 6. And I have 2 that's shelf corporations, which is another term that you learn when you start learning the lesson. One of my clients, that's all he do is create shelf corporations. Now you talk about an investment strategy. He's just sitting there waiting on one of these college kids that graduate from Harvard, Yale, NYU, Caltech, one of these big Ivy League schools. He just create fictitious businesses and shelf them. Now, what's the lesson? He's creating lessons and haven't even gotten a blessing yet. But when he took my course and he learned that you can create a business for only $67 and shelf it, here's the strategy. And I'm going to get y'all this game for free because he gave me something. And I do this myself. Well, I used to, but I got 2 that shelf. So here's the lesson. I'm going to sit and wait for one of these Ivy League college kids to graduate. They need a business with business credit, establishment, more than 5 years, 5 to 10 years is the sweet spot. That gives your business credibility. And then they have 5 trade lines that's already attached, reporting to DUNS, giving your business good credit. Hold up, I ain't even told y'all the game yet. The resale value, because there's a website where you can go and buy shelf corporations. He lists those businesses on there. And every year he adds $10,000 to the resale of these businesses. Look at what a brand new business owner is gaining as opposed to somebody who's starting a business today, fresh from scratch. 5 trade lines, 5 creditors that's reporting to DUNS with an A+ credit rating. Now, here's a lesson. A score of 80 by Duns and Bradstreet is the equivalent of $250,000. Your business credit is not even gauged by the 3 big agencies, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. See, y'all learning something now. Duns and Bradstreet don't even talk to them. They don't even wave at each other. Your personal credit can only go as high as what you can only get as much money as you make annually on your income. But then let's just say you make $150,000, you still can't go and borrow $150,000 because this is where your FICO score, your credit to debt ratio kicks in, and you can't pay back $150,000 because now you don't have no money to live on. But your Duns and Bradstreet, if you got an 80 on Duns, see, because business credit is gauged off of your projections, what you think your business is going to make, not actual fact. This is why it's better to have business credit. This is why you want to LLC your name. Let's revisit that real quick. When I tell people to LLC their name, then your name becomes the business with its own EIN number, and you don't use your social security number. People that will never understand your social security number is like having ankle weights in the swimming pool. It's like wearing ankle weights in the swimming pool. Your social security number will take you down under it. They say when you dip down 3 times, you're gonna drown. You can't never get away from your social security number. You can always close a business down and start a new one. Y'all think Donald Trump done filed bankruptcy 27 times. You can't, he didn't file personal bankruptcy. He bankrupted the business. This is why you don't see Trump monopoly no more. Trump monopoly didn't make no money. So he bankrupted the business, not Trump. Separation of entity, he separated from the game. Why do y'all think Trump casinos are not around anymore? He bankrupted the casino, not Donald Trump. He ain't bankrupted. How can you bankrupt 27 times and still be a billionaire? It's impossible. See, when you learn the lesson, the blessing is only temporary. That's why in this business world, we get in, hit it while the hitting is good, and then we get out. Anybody that's successful knows that. Anybody that's successful knows that. Or you find another way to keep adding to the existing business. Do y'all know why McDonald's is so successful right now? It ain't hamburgers. It's not hamburgers. Scratch that. Get that out of your mind. McDonald's success as a multi-billion-dollar industry globally, worldwide, is not selling hamburgers. Their financial backbone is not selling those hamburgers that don't decompose and break down. You don't believe me? Go buy you a Happy Meal tomorrow. Plain. No ketchup, no mustard, no nut, no pickle, no nut. Get that Happy Meal, plain burger, and a fry. You can drink if you want to. You might want to throw it away because the drink ain't fit to consume either. Leave it in the bag and set it outside. When you don't see ants and flies on food, y'all want to tell me it's edible? When you open that bag up after 7 days and those French fries haven't rotted, you want to tell me that's edible? Now let's get to when you open that hamburger wrapper and that bun just as shiny as it was the day you got it. You want to tell me that's edible? That's a tale for a different day. This is what makes McDonald's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And if y'all learn the lesson by reading Ray Kroc's book, McDonald's, Ray Kroc learned early on after he created the assembly line. See, He didn't. Ray Kroc didn't He didn't create franchise. He didn't create that. Franchise was already out. What Ray Kroc created was that assembly line: buns, meat, dressings, ketchup, mustard, out the door. He created a system of creating. Actually, he didn't even do that. The McDonald brothers created the system. He bought the system. Now, but he learned early on the money was in complete ownership. What do you mean, Brother Robert? Let me tell you something. Did y'all know that the location of a McDonald's restaurant is not owned by the franchisee? No. The person who starts a McDonald's restaurant, they don't own the land. McDonald's Corporation owns the land. This is why you will never see a McDonald's out of business. That thing can be in the most wretched neighborhood that ever was. They'll remodel it, but they're not going to move that McDonald's. They can't, because the franchisee don't own the land. Even if he wants out of the business, they'll sell it to another franchise, like a franchisee, but it's going to stay in that same location. So McDonald's Corporation, not only do they own the image and the likeness of the NIL of McDonald's, they own the dirt that the restaurant sits on. Ooh, y'all didn't know that. Hold up, I ain't done. Then they force the franchisee to buy everything from the corporation. How many of y'all knew that? Put a one in the chat. Put one in the comment section if y'all knew that McDonald's Corporation forced their franchisee to buy everything from the corporation. You will never see a Cisco truck pull up at a McDonald's. You will never see a ProSource distribution pull up at a McDonald's. You're going to see a McDonald's truck. McDonald's make their own cups. They own burger wraps. They own French fry holders. They make their own, man, they got McDonald's ketchup. The mustard, the pickles are all farmed at McDonald's farms. McDonald's Corporation farms. McDonald's is so in control, you can only use McDonald's potatoes to serve McDonald's French fries. Those potatoes are GMOs, genetically modified organisms. This is why they will not rot. You can only buy McDonald's French fries. Everything that comes from each and every last franchise is from McDonald's Corporation. They use the same builders for every franchise. The same art people, the same people that do their menu boards, the same people that do their speaker systems. Everything is all from the McDonald's Corporation. The system Ray Kroc mastered. It's the system. So now what's the lesson? You, as a new business owner, you need to create a system, or you need to take an existing system and tweak it so it can fit your business model. If you don't, your business will fail. My advisor told me, he said, they call me Cowboy. He said, Cowboy, you need to find somebody that you like. You like their lifestyle. And you need to do what they did to get to where they are. Then you'll be successful. Then you can be successful. He didn't say do it like them. He said learn their system. What is a system? A system, now y'all write this down. I'm gonna bless you with this one, then I'm gonna get off here. Spell out the word system going down in the vertical line, SYSTEM. And then right out beside the first S, that's save. The Y is your. Now I know this is a compound word, but y'all work with it. Save yourself time, energy, and money. That's what a system is. If you can't create one or come up with one, you need to find somebody else's system, because a system is going to save yourself time, energy, and money. This is what's going to help you be successful. If you think that you're going to get out here in this business world and just wing it, chasing after the blessing, after that money, you won't be in business a year. Mathematics has already proved that to us, because the biggest majority, another big mistake is we only cater to the people that is in our demographics. When you out here chasing after that money, that cream, y'all can tell I'm old school, man. That Wu-Tang, baby. when y'all out here chasing that money, you got to have a system in place and reduplicatable. It can be easy to learn, quick, and efficient. And you don't let nobody take away from it, because it's already been proven. Now, if you're trying to make up your own system, that hasn't been proven yet. So, and that requires a long time to master and put together, because you got so many variables that you got to look for. But a lot of people, they try to cater to their own demographics, and what happens is you alienate the money that will give it to you with no questions asked. Did y'all know y'all got people out here that'll pay you money and they ain't gonna be asking for no discount or no hookup? But we'd rather deal with our own demographic. Well, it's sad, but it's true. And the science tells us that the average person, we only know 7 people. And out of them 7, we only fool with about 3 for real, for real. You think 7 people is going to sustain your livelihood the way you ain't got to go back to work? That's not going to happen. Because those 7 people, even though they got friends, and they got friends, and they got friends, and they got friends, they're not going to buy from you every week. But they'll follow up in Walmart like it's church. But they'll go to Walmart 3-4 times a day. They go to Walmart 3-4 times a week. Let me be realistic. They'll go to the Dollar Tree before they come to you. Facts. Sad facts, but facts. People you know will go to McDonald's. If you got a restaurant, they'll go to McDonald's before they come to eat you. They go to McDonald's every day of the week, eating that garbage food that ain't gonna decompose before they come to you and buy a hot dog. Sad, but facts. They'll go to the mall and buy clothes. You can have a clothing store, a shoe store. They still gonna go and spend $275 on some Jordans. Sad. And you think that those people are going to be the ones that sustain you when you're a new business owner? This is why y'all tune in to me, man. I give you the information that you need in order to help you be a little bit more successful. In today's lesson, learn the lesson. Look to learn the lesson before you look for the blessing.
Oh, she cooks so good. Oh, yes, it's true. You swore she stuck your foot in it.
Blues album.
Every dish you love that are in the skies, and a kitchen magic, I'm mesmerized.